Woyoy. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all know it's Lex Super 2, baby. If y'all listening to this, I hope y'all feeling incredible out there. America, Angela Yee, the legendary media titan and former co-host of The Breakfast Club, had some very interesting things to say about the Just Hilarious and Loren Lorosa situation. Listen, Angela Yee dropped a bombshell. When y'all hear it, y'all gonna be like, oh, that makes sense. Now, before we get into that, I'm gonna keep it a bean. I said this to my queen months ago. Looking at The Breakfast Club, listening, Just Hilarious, Loren Lorosa, you could tell that there was some tension going on. When Just Hilarious pulled back up from maternity leave, she seemed a little out of whack. Alright, let's keep it a static. She was like, yo, what is going on here? It looked like she was left out the loop. The way that Loren Lorosa was delivering those news reports and during the whole Drake and Kendrick, the current events, you dealing with a different type of beast. That Loren Lorosa is a problem. She's very great at what she does. Looking at the parlay between Just Hilarious and Loren on The Breakfast Club, I knew Angela Yee was laughing her ass off behind the scenes, especially when the situation blew up. You know Angela Yee was eating popcorn. So yesterday morning, she got on Fox 5's Good Day DC, and I want y'all to peep what Miss Yee had to say. America, get jiggy with this.
Your thoughts on that and the overall drama that we all heard on the airwaves?
Well, I would say this. When I initially left, they did say they were going to hire 2 people. So that was always the plan. So I'm going to be honest, I don't know what's communicated to anybody. I know Jess was out on maternity leave, and I know that's tough too, coming back. I know she's expressed, having a baby, postpartum, all of those things take a toll. And Loren works really hard. And Jess does too, like she's on the road. And I think part of why they hired her was because of that. Like she does comedy shows, she goes on the road. That adds a lot to the show.
Has a strong following.
Yeah. But I think a lot of times it is social media that tends to get people riled up. It's outside forces. It's not what's in the room, and that's what makes tension sometimes build. But what is good is when you can have a blow up and then work through it. And so we just have to see it publicly play out. But I think it looks like they're really working through it. And I feel like this can be an advantage because a lot of people can relate to blow-ups in the workplace, and then how do you move forward from that? Because sometimes the resentment can just build and build and build, and then everything falls apart. But if you can catch it early on, that's a good way to make sure, let's squash this.
So if you knew that they were going to the 2 people or 2 women model, I don't know if it was 2 women, but 2 additional people, how is it that didn't get communicated to Just Hilarious, or at least it appears that way?
Well, I'm not sure what they communicated, but I know the plan always was, even when I was there, they were like, we should add another person.
Okay.
And so it was always like, okay, we're gonna hire 2 people. And I feel like they've said that. So I'm not sure what was said.
They both did. They both kind of mentioned that this was always a part of the original plan. Somehow it was a shock factor.
Something got lost in the sauce.
There was a breaking down of communication, and then she ended up blaming Charlamagne and of course DJ Envy for not protecting her in that moment. But then she pointed back to you.
Yeah.
Why did she do that?
She just said I'm not crazy, and I knew that.
but what was she alluding to?
You know what? I saw her one time. We had like a women's event, and we didn't even have a chance. It was all the women at iHeart, so we haven't really had a chance to even break it down. I think she meant it more as a compliment, like Angela is not crazy, because people thought I was crazy for leaving the show. Sometimes people think as the woman, you're the problem. And so when something like this happens, it's like, she's not crazy. Like people, who knows who said that, but.
Yeah, I thought she was alluding to the fact that maybe you went through something similar behind the scenes and you can relate, and hey, she's not crazy and I'm not either. That's how I took it.
I think all of us took it that way. We were just like, wait, how did Angela get involved in this?
Right.
We love
I don't know. I haven't even had a chance. We saw each other. We were doing like these little group sessions, and we were like, we'll talk later. And
I'm sure you guys will.
Then I left to go to Memphis.
Yeah, I hope that conversation happens, because I think both women are equally talented in their own, arena.
They bring something different to the table. I think Jess is hilarious, 'cause, you know, and then Loren is a journalist. So I think if they can figure out how to balance those things, and sometimes it's also the conversation of, okay, when do I jump in? Because I also think it's important before a break to sit down and be like, okay, this is what we're about to talk about. What's your point of view? What's your point of view?
We do that every day.
We do that every single day.
I don't know that they are or aren't doing that, but I think maybe that has to be something that's even more ingrained.
But then we're collaborating and not competing.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
And you know, one of the things that came out of this is just the conversation around, should people in workspaces, particularly two black women coming together, should this have been done on air? Should this have been or on social media? Should this have been a private conversation?
You know, I feel like on The Breakfast Club, they do like things to play out on air. And so that's an argument that can be had, but it's also part of, I think, the allure of the show has always been people feeling like part of it. And so that show's been around for, 14 years now, 15 years. And so I think that part of what people like is they feel like we want to see the inside workings of what's happening.
Yeah,
and
breaking
so
that fourth
there's
wall.
nothing more inside. And then I think also Jess publicly put out her live, and so that is what is the reason why. How do you not address it at all?
That's right.
Because you can't just move on and people are like, what happened? Well, let's let it play out.
Got it. Well, thank you for sounding on this from the Queen, too.
The Queen. They needed two people to fill your seat.
Yeah, they need to sit down and talk. That should have happened first, actually.
Exactly.
All right, well.
Now, I'm going to keep it a bean with y'all. Angela Yee dropped the bombshell right there. She says that there was always a plan to have two new co-hosts. And maybe Jess Hilarious wasn't aware of that. And maybe she wasn't sure where in the plan she was fitting into that. But let's keep it a static again. The way that Loren Lorosa delivers those news reports, you know that's not no amateur reporting. Jess Hilarious started out as a social media star, worked her way to movies, film, and then became a media personality. Then now she's a host on The Breakfast Club. Her resume and her versatility is extremely commendable. But now, the latest with Loren, so I don't know if they're still doing it just with the mess. Now they're doing the latest with Loren. She's also a producer for TMZ Weekdays. She understands these certain nuances that come with journalism, speaking about the narrative. Look, she's extremely seasoned and experienced. Jess Hilarious probably didn't realize once again where in the mold she was fitting in. Loren is an undeniable talent, and Jess Hilarious is as well. When Angela Yee said that even when she was there, they was planning on hiring two new co-hosts, Jess Hilarious went brazy when she called out Envy and Charlamagne when she was ranting last week. She threw a few subs, and let's keep it a bundle. Even now on air, Charlamagne seems indifferent about it, and Envy, he not banging with Jess right now. And Loren is still cooking up those reports consistently. There's still a little bit of tension in the air, but you could see them working through it. Now, can these two women, can their egos coexist amongst each other? Jess Hilarious did say that Charlamagne was like, keep the tension going, keep playing on it. The Breakfast Club has always been a show that seems to be very aware of the audience, very aware of the listeners. Now, for the first time in years though, The Breakfast Club been dominating headlines. Let's keep it a bundle again. Jess Hilarious did get The Breakfast Club popping again. Now, Charlamagne, he takes more risk on the Brilliant Idiots podcast with Andrew Schultz. He seems to just enjoy his 15-year role as one of the head hosts, one of the most popular syndicated morning shows, The Breakfast Club. He soaks up the viral moments, while Envy definitely been stepping up his interview style and asking very critical, substantial questions. Envy been stepping it up with those questions lately. Now, the new hosts, you look at Jess and Loren, they're going to be responsible for creating these shocking viral moments. Jess Hilarious definitely been doing that. So we're dealing with a very dynamic show right now. She's becoming a household name. Loren Lorosa is seasoned professional industry expert, nuanced journalism, and her wittiness is undeniably out of this world. But just hilarious. Her personality, her directness, her relatability, her rawness. I'm gonna keep it a bean. The Shannon Sharp interview, love that interview. That's one of my favorite interviews. After I watch that, I understand her 1,000%. She's gonna deliver it in a way that's personality driven. And now, with Loren pulling up, you know that she's gonna step up her professionalism as well. So now she gotta just mix in the personality and add in that extra dose of professionalism and step her game up. And yo, you gonna get a different type of Jess Hilarious. And I'm gonna say this, it does not matter what Jess does. Jess is always gonna have her audience. She understands the importance of relationships. There's people in the industry that support her, that love what she doing. So Jess Hilarious, she's in a great position. But now Loren Lorosa, she got all of that as well. She got the relationships. She understands the ins and outs. She understands the nuance. She's a great communicator. These two ladies just gotta mix and coexist and play off. Yeah, you know, the tension is cool and all of that, but then playing off that to create those viral moments and remember, get that digital bonus. Hey, remember a few years ago, Charlamagne, Angela, they were talking about the digital bonuses, etc. Now that's their job. Create the next generation of viral moments for the Breakfast Club. That's all they got to do. Jess Hilarious, she's the perfect person for that. The perfect person. Y'all let me know if I'm wildin', but make sure y'all subscribe to the Super Tube and keep styling. Y'all know it's Astro Aesthetics. Let's get it. P. Yeah.